welcome back once again to another episode of the Politically Incorrect Redneck. My name is George Byrne. We are part of the WRVO Radio Network and Reno Viola Outdoors. I just want to remind you once again that this show is being brought to you by Roy Nichols Motors in the heart of Curtis, Ontario, just east of Oshawa, or as we like to say, just east of high prices. The show is also being brought to you by the NFA, the National Firearms Association, of which I am a proud member and a field officer for the NFA. If you own a firearm, if you hunt, if you target shoot, if you just have it around the farm, you need to be a member of the NFA. We are there in Ottawa protecting your rights. I have on the phone, sitting on hold as you just heard with the beep, my good friend Lynn Mayhew, and she was at the Toronto Sportsman Show this week and had a great experience there. Amanda, how are you?
I am excellent. No longer tired, but it was well worth it.
Tired? How can you be tired? It's a 4-day show now.
It is. It's so exhausting. And you got to remember, you have lots of fun at night too, right? With all the other vendors and people that you meet. So it ends up being long nights and early mornings.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, you know, that's funny because I've been doing that show since I was 15 years old, which is just over 10 years ago. 35 years. The last 5 or 6 years, I haven't been doing it. But do you know it used to be a 10-day show that encompassed 2 weekends and went from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day?
I do know that because I had an individual at my booth on Sunday afternoon for about an hour, and he is 68 years old and says he's been coming to the show since he was 12 years old.
Oh, well, he's got me. He's got me beat. Yeah, absolutely.
He was telling me that it was, just like that. It used to be a week and a half, and yeah, I didn't know. I only started going on the show about 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's really changed. I mean, they had to cut it down. I mean, us guys running the retail booths. I used to work for Gagnon Sports and Barclays and DNR Sporting Goods, local gun shops and whatnot, and we were there 2 days setting up, another day tearing down, so it was actually 13 days in total from daylight till dark. And you're right, a lot of partying going on. But anyways, enough of that. And so how did you enjoy the show this year, and what were you doing there?
I loved the show this year. I was honored enough to be the Toronto Sportsman Show official ambassador. So that was pretty big for me, and cool. My booth was my Nothing But Outdoors radio show, which is aired on the same network, WRVO.
Absolutely.
And we introduced and launched a cookbook because we were posting, because I'm the ambassador, they were posting recipes on the Toronto Sportsman Show Facebook page, and they got so popular that we decided to collaborate them all and add some extras and make a cookbook. So we launched that this weekend. Or last weekend, and we also gave away a prospector's tent too. So it was a good show. It was a big turnout, and we had huge, awesome feedback from everybody that stopped by the booth.
Excellent. And are you noticing a lot more women into hunting now?
Oh, yes, absolutely. From last year, I worked at the gun shop in Waterloo, Shooter's Choice. From then until now, and we also launched Targeting the Huntress, a panel I put together last year for the show, which was a big success. We continued it into this year, and the questions from ladies, older ladies, younger ladies, little girls, just about hunting, and, I've gotten into it the last couple of years, and I'm buying guns, and just everything. The increase of women in the sport is just incredible, and I love seeing that.
Yeah, right over the top, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've noticed it, probably just since I joined Facebook a couple of years ago, I've noticed how many different groups in the U.S. and now growing much stronger up here in Canada, popping up all over the place. And it's fantastic to see. My mother was a championship skeet shooter back in the 60s and 70s, and there were like 4 or 5 of them, 4 or 5 ladies out at the Oshawa Skeet and Gun Club who were pretty serious about skeet shooting back then. So it's not a new thing, but it's coming along, isn't it?
And that is true. We had the one sunshine girl that we had for the Toronto Sportsman Show, Jackie. She is a skeet shooter competitor, and her mother was as well, and that's how she grew up. So, and it has been around for as long as I can remember. My grandmother shot a moose back in the 60s, and that's all I knew. And I think now, because, women have always done it, but because it's being in the spotlight and it's on TV and people are talking about it, it's inspiring more women to get into it.
Yeah, and you know what? Since we've been getting a lot more media attention, I've noticed we've been getting a lot more negative attention too. Have you noticed like a yeah? Have you noticed a lot of that lately? Like, to me especially. I commented. Our good friend Keith Beasley was interviewed by one of the Sun reporters. And he was talking about, how hunters and anglers are the true stewards of conservation in Canada, which we all know to be true. There's no doubt about that, groups like Ducks Unlimited, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Federation of Anglers and Hunters, the Ruffed Grouse Society. The list just goes on and on and on of different groups that contribute to the outdoors.
Right.
And, I've been involved in hundreds of different projects throughout the year since, my early teenage years up until, just even this year, lifting the salmon over the dam at the Bowmanville Creek. And, I have never, not once at any one of these projects, ever seen anybody with a PETA shirt on or a Greenpeace t-shirt or, like the Greenies Tree Huggers. They're never there participating in the projects themselves.
Nope, they're not.
Have you ever seen one?
No.
No. You know what? Everybody I talk to has never seen one, so they don't exist. So anyways, a lot of people got onto this thread when the Sun posted it on Facebook, and some of the nasty stuff that was said about, Canada in the rough and Keith Beasley and our sport in general, just, it threw me for a loop. I didn't know there was that much hatred out there.
There is. My son shot his first bear last August. And,
yes, I saw that. Congratulations to him.
Thanks. And when I put his picture, because I was proud of him, 14 years old, sitting in the tree stand for 7.5 hours. How many kids can do that? Yeah. And he took his first bear, one shot, 30 yards, and it was down. It was done and I put a picture up on my Facebook page, on my public figure page, and the amount of attacks that picture got was just unreal. And I have been hunting my whole life, putting pictures up of myself hunting all these years through Facebook, and never have I ever seen anything like it. And I put one up of my son, and people commenting from Africa and all these places where they've never been to Canada, and they think that we're so cruel, and my son is so cruel for doing that. Like, what kind of feedback is that giving Mackenzie? He's gonna feel good about what he did, and then he's gonna feel confused about what these other people are saying. And you're trying to teach your children about the heritage and about how it's good to know how to survive and stuff, and then you have all these people that don't even know what they're talking about, just being mean.
Yeah, I know. I get that. And you will see. I have a habit of, whenever there's a nasty comment, like my Facebook page, The Politically Incorrect Redneck, is an open Facebook page. Anybody can join it. Anybody can comment on it. I don't put any restrictions whatsoever. I think that's kind of the spirit of it, right?
Right.
Yeah, I want those opposing opinions, because then I have 400 or 500 other people on there who are just going to beat the shit out of that guy, with comments, right? Someone who makes a negative comment. So I really, really like that. But I think we've actually got a lot of the antis, I call them internet trolls, that have joined all our groups to make more of a statement. I'm not really, I can't pick them out particularly, but I'll check someone's profile that has just, added the Politically Incorrect Redneck as their favorite or whatever, and it doesn't make sense a lot of the times.
No, and just like the Toronto Sportsman Show page, okay, if you're not interested in the outdoors, why are you even on there?
Yeah.
Why do you need to go on there and call us all killers and murderers and stuff? What's the point? What are you going to get out of that? Because 12,000 people on the Toronto Sportsman Show page, they're going to jump down your throat.
Oh yeah. But I think they just like doing that to stir up the crap. Now, you had somebody get awful upset about your bearskin rug there at the show, I understand.
Yeah, this one guy, he spoke perfect English. He was, he was very happy and such when he came up to the table, the booth, and then he slapped the top of my bear head, and he's like, "Don't you know those are extinct?" And I was like, whoa, how do I even deal with that? First of all, I said, if they're extinct, then you maybe want to call my mother and tell her that she was seeing things in the backyard when the black bear stole her bird feeder. Or maybe you want to get a hold of all these other communities that are having huge problems with nuisance black bears. Like, do you even know what you're talking about? And then he just went, oh, whatever, they're extinct, and he walked away.
Oh, so you never got to really engage in conversation with him very much. So you didn't find out why he was at the show.
No, it was a Sunday. It was the Sunday, so I'm figuring he had nothing better to do.
Well, that brings me around to an interesting point. Over the years, I like to both hunt and fish. I'm a fishing fanatic. I'm just an absolute nut job for going out onto the water, and it's probably a bigger passion than hunting for me because I get more time to do it. And I've got a lot of friends that are fishermen that aren't hunters. And the odd one over the years has said something negative about hunting. Now, I'm there to straighten them out on it, and their favorite comment or comeback to me is, well, you can't release what you shoot because they're these, higher than mighty catch and release type fishermen. And I always answer that with, of course, I don't pull the trigger if I intend on releasing it. So you shut up, right? And eventually I managed to educate them so they understand my point of view on it. And we haven't gone down the road again. But nothing drives me more insane than a fisherman who enjoys the outdoors the same as you and I, likes to put himself into that outdoors category, and is an anti-hunter.
Yeah, if you don't like hunting, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you're educated and you don't like hunting, that's fine. If you're uneducated and you have to come up with ignorant comments like that, that's not fine.
Yeah.
I don't sit there and jam wild game and hunting down my friends' throats. I don't do that. They know what I do. If they want to talk about it, fine. If they don't like it, that's great too. If they want to be involved, then that's fine too. But don't sit there and talk about something you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that's what drives me crazy.
Well, like I said on your Facebook page there earlier, I don't know if you saw that comment I meant, but when someone has an educated opinion, I am okay with that, whether it disagrees with my beliefs or not. But when you have an uneducated opinion and you blurt out something that just makes no sense, I think you should be allowed to punch that person in the face.
How about in the throat?
Okay, in the throat. and you doing it too would be something else. I understand that's your other passion, isn't it? Outdoor fitness?
Yeah, fitness. I'm a fitness fanatic. You're a fishing fanatic. I'm a fitness fanatic.
You don't like to go fishing, Amanda?
I love fishing. I've been fishing from a young age as well. I probably launched a fishing rod before I launched a bullet, but...
Yeah, oh yeah.
And all my kids grew up fishing and, shooting and stuff too. My mom's a big fisherman. She won't hunt. She'll come out with me, but she'll love to fish. And she's the kind of woman that will sit in the boat and the fish will just jump into the boat for her. She doesn't even have to put the rod in the water.
Yeah, I hate those people. Yeah, I know what you're saying there. Yeah.
My dad will catch... my dad's an awesome fisherman, but it's always the joke that he catches the stumps and the fish just jump in after my mom.
No, there you go. There you go. No, I like enjoying doing both. I understand that not everybody can be a hunter. I get that. There's hunters and there's gatherers and there's people who do neither. And my stepbrother's a fantastic example of that. He started skeet shooting with us and trap shooting years ago, and finally he decided to go on a deer camp with us up to the deer camp. And I put him on a good watch and had some guys running through the lower swamp for whitetail. And I watched a nice 6-point buck walk right past him. And he sat there and he looked at it and he let it go. Okay. So he wanted to be part of the hunting experience, but he didn't want to pull the trigger. So I went up to him and said, "Hey, Scott, did you not see that deer?" Because I'm watching the whole thing through binoculars, right? Just watching it unfold and expecting him to shoot. And, of course, the bang never happened. So he denied even seeing it, right, for a long time. And then finally I convinced him to tell me the truth. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to ridicule you or nothing. I understand that, if you don't have the killer instinct, then... you don't need to pull the trigger. So he admitted it. He said, yeah, I saw it. I just didn't have the heart to pull the trigger. Of course, I ridiculed the shit out of them after that, but some people can't do it, and I respect that, and I even respect, the hardcore PETA protester that wears nothing but hemp clothing and eats nothing but bean sprouts. I respect that, if that's who you want to be, right? But what I can't respect is an outdoorsman like a fisherman who fishes tournaments or does a little catch and release fishing and says, I never kill anything, but enjoys and is adamant that what we do is wrong. How do we get that guy on our side?
I don't know. Feed him some good bear roast.
Hey, that might do it. That might do it for sure. Now, tell me about your cookbook. How are sales?
Oh, my Lord. They're through the roof ever since February 4th. I don't know what happened on the 4th, but then it doubled on Saturday after the Sun Media aired my interview.
Uh-huh.
It went crazy, and I didn't have a clue until I got home and checked online sales. Sold out at the show, and online sales they're crazy.
So how do people get your cookbook?
They can go to my website, AmandaLynnMayhew.com, and you'll see the book right at the top. And it'll give you two options: to go to the Facebook page, which will then take you to the online link to order it, or you can go straight from the website to buy now, and you can order it online, and you'll get it in just a few days. But it won't be autographed.
Oh, no, you need an autographed one for sure. Now, where can we get an autographed one?
I don't know. A couple of bookstores have already hit me up from the show asking to do some book signings in the future. So we just got it into 2 independent stores in Northern Ontario.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go from here.
Wow, that's exciting. Did you expect it to take off like that?
No.
I did. As soon as I saw it, I thought that girl's a friggin' genius.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As soon as I saw that you were going to put out this cookbook, I thought, you know what, she's going to have a bestseller here because, a lot of people are starting to, besides the aunties, but the people who are starting to come around to the way of thinking because of, they're afraid of the food that they're eating from the grocery stores.
True, that's a good point.
Yeah, like people that you would never think that would support hunting and support harvesting game this way have started to have a different point of view when they start to see the slaughterhouses and the hormones and the chemicals that are in the food that is being sold at the A&P or I guess at the Metro or superstores and whatnot.
And it's funny if you actually think about it. PETA's kind of helping the hunters because PETA is against slaughterhouses and such, and they make these big deals about the slaughterhouses, and they do all kinds of videos, and they go on TV and blah 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 blah. So the slaughterhouses is something that we don't do that. We're hunters, and it's conservation and wildlife management, and it's humane. And slaughterhouses are not. So if you kind of think about it in that way, don't you think that PETA is sort of helping the hunters?
Yeah, I hate PETA. Yes, no, I agree with you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Has had a worse experience than me with PETA, but I'm just saying, now that we're talking about it, I've just come to that thought that
you're absolutely 100% bang on there. And I've had that argument with some of the PETA folks, and they won't accept that point of view, but it is the truth. I say, listen, if you're against the unethical treatment of animals, then you must be 100% in favor of hunting.
Exactly.
And they look at me like I have two heads. And I said, well, there's nothing more ethical about harvesting an animal than the way that the sportsmen and the hunters of North America take their game.
Right. I was actually on a live television show in Kitchener 2 years ago with my husband and a lady from PETA, and this is, the blonde, blue-eyed, voluptuous, kind of not very intelligent young lady who was representing PETA. And with every question that the lady was asking us, the girl had to go through her book to find the answers. So they put a beautiful girl to represent PETA, but she has no idea what she's talking about. And she was getting in my face about how unethical it was to shoot a bear or whatever the case may be. And she's like, how many times do you have to shoot that animal before you can kill it? And I said, once. And she's like, there's no way. How could you be that good to shoot an animal just one time? And I said, well, there's this thing they call the Rod and Gun Club. They have a target range there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They don't. They just don't have a clue as to, what really goes on. When you're hunting. I mean, I could probably count on one hand how many times I've had to fire a second shot at a big game animal. It's not very often, and usually, I understand that some animals do not get recovered, and that's a real sad thing that does happen to us now and again. Mm-hmm. But I can honestly say that it's never happened to me, but I've been involved with groups where we have put in 14 to 15 hours tracking. We've exhausted every possible opportunity to recover the animal, and nobody ever takes it lightly.
No,
everybody's hurt by it afterwards.
Yeah, and it eats you up. Myself, that has never happened to me either. Anything that I've ever shot has been one shot, and it has gone down. The only one that had taken a doe with the bow, and I couldn't find her until the next morning. But it was in the winter time, and she was, there was nothing wasted or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And we did find her, and that's the closest thing that's ever happened to me like that. But yeah, you hear guys talk about it, and it eats them up because, I mean.
Yeah. Oh, and then nothing's more sickening than not recovering the game animal that you went after, and we do feel bad about it. And that brings another interesting point. One of the favorite comments on that Sun News thing with Keith Beasley was trophy hunters are scum. Because have you ever met a trophy hunter, Amanda?
Yes, actually, I have met one, and this is a hard conversation to have because
let me just take it. The trophy hunters that are out there that I've met a lot of them through Safari Club International, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and places like that. They still, even though they're a trophy hunter, they're only after the mature buck, the giant bull, the one with the best horns. The meat never goes to waste with them either.
No, I agree with that. The point that I would like to make is I was bear hunting 2 years ago up north, and where I had the one bait put for my husband, we're old school hunters. We don't do outfitters. We don't do,
do it yourself. Yeah, do it yourself. Love it.
Fancy schmancy stuff and whatever. And on our way to his bait the one day, there was this truck that had a television production license plate on it, and they were up on the same road, just off a little bit before his bait, and they were up there. They had their setup with a whole bunch of tree stands and video cameras and blah, 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 blah. And when we watched them go in, the bear came out, they shot it, they got out of the tree stand and left, and another crew came in to get the bear, pull it out, clean it, and then whatever they did with it, they didn't bring the meat home. So my think about that is that if you're going to go out there and you're going to put in the time, you should put in all the time. And I get television shows, I get that, but for the most part, most television shows, especially Canadian ones, the person that's harvesting that animal is also cleaning and processing that animal.
Oh, yeah.
And with this particular person and production company, it really, really just irked me the wrong way. I did not like seeing how that happened. And that is my kind of trophy, quote-unquote, hunter that I don't like.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And you know what? The good thing about that, Amanda, is that they are the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
They are. There are a few out there that may be like that, but almost every hunter, there's so many of these urban legends. Another comment that was on there was about how all the farmers got to put their cows away because, opening day for deer season, there's it just makes me laugh. I've known hundreds and hundreds of farmers because I've been hunting my whole life. And of course, you got to have written permission in most places to hunt. And I have never, ever once met that farmer that has had a cow shot?
No, I've never heard of that.
No, but it's one of these urban legends, that, oh, yeah, I know a guy who, accidentally shot a cow, or I know, you hear about this stuff, and you see these guys posting this crap on Facebook, on, this particular Sun commentary, and it's just like, do you have a brain at all? Like, have you ever actually been out in the woods? And
boy.
And it just goes on and on. So I've got a real, I don't know what you have to do to educate these people. Maybe just turn Facebook off. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I think that if it's someone coming into Canada, that it should be part of their education.
I think so too. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And I mean, same with kids growing up these days. I think that they should put an outdoors survival class into the education system, because how many, and it's not just about hunting, but just about survival in general, how many kids don't know how to light a fire?
Oh, yeah, well, some of them shouldn't, but no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, they don't know how to start a fire, they don't have any basic survival skills, and they don't have safe handling of firearms courses in schools anymore either, which is a massive mistake. I mean,
Huge, because look at what happened in Toronto over Christmas with the whole power outage and how do we survive and just water and heat and everything else. I
Absolutely.
mean, what would you have done if that was the case for 2 or 3 months, not just 2 or 3 weeks?
Oh, we would have had mayhem in the streets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why not put that education back into the school or introduce it into the schools?
Mm-hmm.
So even giving it as, they put religion in schools.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. I think it's a lot more important for young people to learn these basic skills. And you know what? It gives them that understanding again of what the outdoors is all about and understand the hunting aspect.
Absolutely. My son doesn't even have a cell phone. My youngest, Mackenzie, he's 2 for 2 for his bears, and he loves hunting, and he'll do anything outdoors, no problem, hands down. He doesn't have a cell phone. He goes on Facebook to check out what's new in the gun industry and stuff like that. But other than that, he's not a social media freak, and he could care less.
Oh, wonderful.
Kids are like that are 15 years old.
Yeah, there's not. You know what? There's not very many kids like that anymore. I mean, I see that even at our Bowmanville Creek meetings, Anglers Association meetings. Most of the guys are all old guys like me. That being said, we've got Cooper Gallant and Greg Attard and a couple of the other young guys that come out and are the future of our sport. But I'd like to see a hell of a lot more of them. How about you?
Yeah, the future, exactly. And that's my goal, is to inspire and help educate the younger generation so we don't lose that. Excellent.
Well, you know what, Amanda? It's been wonderful talking to you. I'd love to have you on again, but, Reno wants me to wrap these things up at exactly 29 minutes. If I go, I'm telling you, if I go 29 minutes and 4 seconds, I get an email right away. What the hell are you doing, George? Anyways, so we're going to let you go with that, and we will talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, again, that was Amanda Lynn Mayhew, and she is just a wonderful story. Anyways, this is George from the Politically Incorrect Redneck. Mr. Mike Hall is going to take you out.
If I was inclined to lean to the left, these freedoms of mine could fall victim to theft. I like to hunt, I like to fish. I am gainfully employed and pay more tax than I wish. I don't belong to a cult or a sect. I'm a politically incorrect redneck. I'm a politically incorrect redneck. I'm a politically